So the Rise of Skywalker is officially here. It's been here for over a week now. And I personally feel like that's enough time to let the general conscious set in and let people decide for themselves how they feel about the movie. I've had a whole week to really dwell on it and think about it. And unlike any Star Wars movie ever made, this one is divisive. What the fuck? Look, I'm going to be honest with you. The Rise of Skywalker is a perfectly fine movie. It just is. You know, I could even argue it's a good movie. It's well shot. It's got beautiful acting. The story works. It's very cool to see lightsabers. And, you know, if you just want to see a satisfying film, one that puts this trilogy to rest for the time being, concludes the story, then you will like The Rise of Skywalker. However, I don't know if being just a fine movie is really enough when you consider what this movie is. It's not only the conclusion of a trilogy that started in 2015, it's the conclusion of the Skywalker saga. So I don't know if it's just me, but I was kind of expecting something more than fine. The truly weird thing about this movie is that it feels like it was written by a bunch of Reddit users. And I don't mean that in the sarcastic, oh, the writing's bad way. I mean it in the weird way that this film needs to tie everything together. It just doesn't. It really doesn't. It's a sort of amalgamation of a bunch of Reddit theories and fan theories on the internet since 2015. And it really does feel like that. You know, this movie is just confused about what it really wants to say. I'm not sure if the movie wants you to look back on nostalgia fondly or to majorly question it. The movie doesn't give me an answer. It says you can do both, which I fucking disagree with. The movie seems to end with the implication that we need to literally bury the past.
It's time to let old things die.
I mean, Rey at the end of the film buries Luke and Leia's lightsabers deep within the sands of Tatooine. So it's a literal way of saying we're moving past all this bullshit. We're doing new stuff. But then less than 30 seconds later, the movie does a callback to the original film from 1977. So I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think you can do both those things. I don't think you can say, yeah, we're moving past nostalgia, but also be like, hey, remember Star Wars from 1977? Most of the movie's like sheer brilliance stems from the choice to just say, fuck the past. You know, when the movie is doing unique things and really changing the Star Wars lore, it's great and it's fantastic. And most of that brilliance is found within scenes with Rey, Kylo Ren, or my favorite scenes, Rey and Kylo Ren. The directing is incredible, the writing is fucking superb, and the performances of Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver are just magnificent. The chemistry between these two is so unique because 1 second I'll think to myself, holy shit, they're gonna beat the fuck out of each other. And then a second later I'll be like, holy shit, they're about to kiss. The sexual chemistry is wild and it's such a unique thing to do in Star Wars, to have a love story between the hero and the villain and to connect them in a really thematic and metaphoric way. I found that to be so cool. The way Kylo is torn between the dark side and the light side found within Rey. It's clearly what interested them the most, and I just wish that we had more of it. There are a number of like religious allegories in this film, and I love them. I love Rey sort of, you know, speaking to the snake and healing it. I also loved the temptation in the desert where Kylo Ren's TIE fighter comes in and Rey like jumps over it. It's a beautiful scene and it's, you know, very religious, very, you know, heady. And I like that. I love when movies do religious bullshit that have some sort of relevance to the story. Yeah, there's another fantastic moment in the movie where Kylo is visited by Han Solo. And, you know, Kylo Ren is, you know, basically just saying, you're just a memory. And Han Solo says, I'm your memory. I found that to be so beautiful and so profound and so genuine. You know, it parallels their final conversation in The Force Awakens, in which, you know, Han Solo literally tells Kylo Ren that Kylo is dead, but his son is alive. And I just wish the movie really fucking understood what that meant. So this is where my sort of interpretation comes into it, and this really starts to lose its ideology as a review. For the last two movies, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, it's been heavily implied that Rey and Kylo Ren have some sort of romantic connection. I mean, whether it's the interrogation scene in The Force Awakens when there is a weird tension between them, or whether it is the metaphoric art house-like sex scene found within The Last Jedi when they touch their hands. It's a beautiful moment. Now, I don't want to come across as a Reylo stan, but that's fucking cool. You know, like, it makes sense. It's something new that the franchise is doing. It's bringing literal balance, the light and dark together to create one. It's this beautiful idea that I think George Lucas would have loved. I really think he was fond of the idea of putting the hero and the villain romantically together. I was reading through the music notes for Rey and Kylo Ren's themes, and they actually have very similar notes. I think the first three of Rey's are the last three of Kylo Ren's, or, you know, or flipped or whatever. And those same three notes are actually from Across the Stars, the love theme for Anakin and Padme in episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which I'm doing a video about very soon. So the whole time, you know, even the composer is like, hey, you know, I think these two want to fuck. Despite the rushed pace, the over-reliance on MacGuffins, all would have been forgiven if they gave Kylo Ren and Rey the ending that those characters really deserved. If they gave Ben the proper redemption and a fucking family, I would have been so satisfied. And they do it. They do it for a second there. I'm sitting in the cinema. I'm watching this happen, thinking to myself, holy shit, they've done it. They fucking have done it. When Kylo Ren lifts himself out from the hole in the ground that Palpatine pushed him through, and he walks over to Rey and he's stumbling, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I love this movie. I really do. I don't give a shit about the pace. I don't care about making Rey a Palpatine. I don't give a shit. It's all forgiven. It's all forgiven. Because they did something that is truly unique. You know, he gets to Rey and he holds her and he's fucking crying and the music is beautiful. And then he brings her back. He brings her back to life. And they kiss. And I was so happy for a second. They decide to kill Kylo Ren in the end. They make him drop his head and he disappears like a Force ghost. But he's not really a Force ghost because you don't see him in the end. It's such a strange choice, and it's one that the movie or the franchise or the series really didn't warrant. It wasn't built up towards. You know, if anything, what was built up was this idea that Ben Solo is alive. Kylo Ren is dead.
No one's ever really gone.
It's just such a devastating ending that just really didn't need to be there. With Kylo Ren, someone who's been manipulated his whole fucking life, he's been abused and used throughout his whole life. Now that he's free and finally able to live as Ben Solo, he just fucking dies? That's such a boring way to do it. It's so limiting from a storytelling perspective to just say, yeah, he dies because, you know, he's happy, he's at one now. That's so dumb. Give me some fucking depth. Give me some genuine anxiety. Make me think, what the fuck is this guy thinking? You know what? He gets to live now and he killed all those people? How does a character go on like that? That to me is interesting. At least if you kept him alive, if you did the exact same movie, you kept him alive, Rey takes him to Tatooine at the end, and we do the same scene, just with Kylo Ren. We do the same binary sunset, but with Kylo Ren, with Ben. That's different. That's the implication to the audience is this is a new path. Yes, the saga is over, but a new one has begun. That's what you're telling us. And by ending it with Rey being alone again, which is literally how the first movie, The Force Awakens, begins, such a depressing end. And I've seen people write about it and I fucking agree. All Rey needed was a family. That's all she wanted. She just wanted to be a part of a family. And I'm sure you can argue, well, Finn and Poe are her family. Fine. But I'm sure she wanted a romantic partner. She wanted to be with someone. And that's what this character has been longing for since The Force Awakens. And it's so depressing that, like, they just ignore all of that in favor of another Vader. You know, he goes out like his grandfather. Like, it ties back to what I said about nostalgia. This movie really doesn't know what it wants to say. It wants to commemorate nostalgia, but then it also wants to do different stuff. Not really. Ultimately going back to nostalgia. It's so fucking weird. And I really disagree with it. I think the sequel trilogy has been plagued by appealing to the wrong audience. I think that these movies appealed to the original trilogy and all the fans that grew up with that. And I don't know if that was the best decision. Because you see, the people that love the original trilogy, all they want to see is the original trilogy. I'm generalizing here. I don't think everyone that loves the original trilogy just wants the same thing, but a large percentage of people that love the original trilogy just want to see Luke, Han, and Leia do the same bullshit. That was never going to happen. Like, even in George Lucas's original plans for The Force Awakens, that wasn't going to happen. If anything, he was going to be more fucked. Because I'm pretty sure in the art of The Force Awakens, which I have right here, he kills R2-D2. R2-D2 is fucking dead in that movie. Luke Skywalker is portrayed as the Marlon Brando's character in Apocalypse Now. He's become like an insane person set in isolation. Fucking what Rian Johnson did was like tame compared to that. These movies were always sort of destined to fail if you appealed to those people, because they were never going to be happy. They don't like the prequels, they don't like the Clone Wars, they don't like this, they don't like that. You know, they just don't like shit that is different. This movie just feels like a course correction. And it's so weird to me that instead of correcting it to be, let's appeal to the fans that love The Last Jedi, let's make it more unique like that, they decided to just appeal to the people that hated The Force Awakens for the same reasons they hated The Last Jedi. Is that it was different, and Luke wasn't in it enough, and he wasn't a badass, and he wasn't fucking killing everyone with his lightsaber. It's appealing to the wrong audience. It's appealing to an audience that ultimately were never going to be happy with it anyway. And J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, fucking Bob Iger, whoever it is, they knew this since 2015. So why would you course correct it now?
What was your reaction to the end of the movie? But don't use words, okay? Ready?
How does it end?
3, 2, 1.
So very quickly, this is sort of a different angle, different to the rest of the video, basically because I forgot to record this bit. The character of Rose Tico in this film is done horribly. She's basically sidelined in favor of a new character that I don't even remember what that character is called. It's pretty embarrassing. Like, I'm pretty sure they write Rose Tico out in a more embarrassing way than how they wrote Poochie out from The Simpsons.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Wow, Poochie came from another planet? I guess.
I think in this one they say that they need... There's a scene where Finn basically is like to her, hey, do you want to come on this adventure on the Falcon? And she's like, oh, nah, soz, bro. I gotta do some paperwork for Leia. And it's like, you know, like 5 seconds before, Leia said, this is like the most important fight ever. Like, if we don't do this fight, everything we've done is for nothing. And it's like, wouldn't you want someone who helped significantly on Crate working on this mission? Like, and what fucking paperwork are you doing? We don't know anything about the politics in the sequel universe. So what paperwork are you doing? Do you need paperwork to go to war? Like, I'm so confused by this. And it's such a stupid, course correction to appeal to big dumb fanboys that just, like, are the worst of the internet. Also thought Finn had no character in this movie. Like, it's obvious that he's force sensitive, which is dope and really cool. Wish they did more with that. But there's a bit where he meets a new character who's sort of like the new Rose Tico. She replaces Rose Tico. And she was a former stormtrooper. And so the implication to me was that, oh, shit, this is going to be really important to the movie. Like, they're going to basically try rally the stormtroopers to fight with them because they're both stormtroopers. The character tells Finn a story about how her battalion put all their weapons down and just, like, didn't listen to the Emperor. And in the end, like, that doesn't happen. They just fucking destroy all the stormtroopers. They shoot them all. And they don't ask morally, like, hey, does some of these stormtroopers not want to fight either? Like us? They just fucking, belt them. So, yeah, that's pretty fucking dumb, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty dumb.
I should have just let them kill him off in that first one, really. I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
I don't know. I'm torn on this movie. You know, I feel like Kylo Ren. I'm torn between the light and dark side. I want to know the truth. And I think the simple truth is that I'm never really going to know. I'm just going to always watch this movie and try understand it and try get it and try see, was I wrong or was the movie wrong or is it a bit of both? I'm not decided on this movie. I really don't know if it's good or bad. I just disagree with a lot of creative choices. I want nothing more than to come back to it in a year and fucking adore it. I really do hope that I come back to this movie this day in 1 year and I love it. But until then, I'm going to be thinking about it. I'm going to be thinking about what could have been, what it is, and what it will be over the next few years. So again, thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you for holding out and giving me time to process the film and have my thoughts on it. And I really hope that you guys love the video. And if you feel this way, if you agree with me, please share it around. It always helps. It's so important to share videos like on Reddit and stuff, on Twitter, Facebook, because it makes the difference. It really does. So thank you again for watching. I am, of course, that Robbie. I have some Star Wars Lego to go build because I'm pathetic and I still love this franchise. So until next time, I'm that Robbie and I'll see you later.